All right, JP. So we look at a lot of evidence, but how do we go about getting that evidence? Criminal.
Okay. In a criminal case, there's a statute, Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, Article 3914. That's what's known as the Michael Morton Act. And I'll tell you about Michael Morton and why that statute's named after him in a sec. But that is the criminal discovery statute in Texas. That is what makes anyone who charges you, like a district attorney or the county, that's what makes them have to give attorneys, defense attorneys like us, evidence in the case. And that can be dash cam, body cam, police reports, witness statements. It can be 911 calls. It can be anything the state is using to prosecute you or to try and say you committed a crime. We get to look through and we get to try to use to build your defense.
They hand all that stuff over to us. How did they used to be? It hasn't always been like that, has it?
That's right. As the old heads can tell you, in the old days, it was the wild, wild west. They did not, they meaning the state, did not have to give you evidence until the day of trial. So sometimes you would show up to court and your defense lawyer would be looking at the case file, very important stuff like police reports, dash cams, body cams, whatever they had against you. You might be finding out like the day of trial or maybe the day before trial. So it was much more unfair in those days. And so a lot of people took pleas because they didn't know what the evidence was. Obviously, thankfully, it's not like that anymore.
And why is it named after Michael Morton?
Okay, Michael Morton is a really good guy. You may have seen him in the news. You can look him up. He also goes and gives talks at law schools. I heard him speak when I was a law student. This is a guy who was wrongfully convicted for 20 years for a crime he did not commit. There was evidence that was proving that he didn't commit the crime. I believe it was his wife was murdered. Someone broke into their apartment and killed her. Officers thought it was him. And it, usually is like someone close. So they weren't wrong to suspect him, I guess. But they had evidence that he didn't do it, and they sat on the evidence. The district attorney did not turn that over to the defense attorney. And so he was wrongfully convicted while the killer was out there and, not facing justice. And then through some great work from the Innocence Project and from some other lawyers that came to light, the courts overturned his conviction. He's out. His suffering has actually made the criminal justice system in Texas a lot fairer and a lot better and given tools for you and myself to fight people's cases.